This is a funny clip. Apparently, Charlie Kirk was credentialed. He was doing coverage of the DNC. And the president of the Young Democrats of Georgia, a guy named Parker Short, approached him. And this exchange is hilarious. I mean, it is. I'll tell you what I find amazing about this is that despite all the evidence of the effectiveness of Charlie Kirk's retort at the end of this, and you got to stay for the end of it, despite all the evidence that this is not an effective argument or statement or question or whatever for people who are not inside your bubble, your right-wing bubble, Kirk, he knows where he's at. Like he's not an idiot, but he is suffering from, I think, being locked in a bubble so firmly locked within that bubble, he's not even aware of it when he steps out of it.
Because we have a Republican governor and a Republican Secretary of State in the state of Georgia.
What's your name?
He said Parker? My name's Parker. We have a Republican governor and a Republican Secretary of State in Georgia that approved our elections, and Donald Trump said that wasn't constitutional.
Right,
Donald Trump tried to undermine our Constitution.
You're at 10. I just walked in. I'm here to just learn.
Hey, you're an anti-patriotic, anti-constitutional person crashing our party because you tried to stop our democracy.
I got one question.
Donald Trump called the Secretary of State of Georgia and told him to find him some votes.
What is a woman?
Oh my God. That is so fucking weird, y'all. Maybe you should meet one.
I'm married to one.
Because we have a...
There you go.
I'm married to one.
But the best part is like, what's your response to Donald Trump, being caught on tape, essentially, like fishing for more votes? What's a woman? I mean, it's just like the dude, they are just locked in a bubble. I mean, listen, I have no illusions as to who, is in our audience. We'll occasionally get libertarians. We'll have some disagreement about Israel, Gaza. We'll have, every now and then somebody from Rumble will call in. But if I walk into the Republican National Convention, I'm going to anticipate talking to people who don't agree with what I agree with. And I'm going to approach them with the most effective argument I have. And Charlie Kirk deploys what's a woman? It's just bizarro. And the kid was right. It's like so effing weird.
Right. And so that kid's the president of Young Democrats in Georgia. It's just fascinating because this is supposedly the target demographic of Charlie Kirk's entire operation of Turning Points USA for the past decade or however long it's been in operation. He's supposed to be the whisperer for the college students. And that, I don't know how old that guy is, but he's probably around that age. Doesn't seem to be having a good effect here on that front.
I mean, because they can't get through the Olympics without going through a crisis about what is a woman themselves.
I know it. And
all they have is just like, mockery. It's so negative and nasty. And I think it just wears thin when there's nothing else there. Like Trump's mockery in 2016 had also just like his anti-establishment and like the racism behind it and the immigration stuff. And then he also was saying things like, I'm going to give everybody health care. And now it's just like, I want to make fun of Doug Emhoff's daughter and like her appearance. Like, let's make fun of Tim Walz for having a little bit of a belly or something like that. And what kind of politics is that when there's nothing else behind it except
that's the
Trump
thing,
worship? Yeah.
I mean, it's a fun thing to do. To make fun of, I enjoyed, there was no better moment for me in the RNC than when Donald Trump pretended like Tiffany did not exist and he turned away, but he's throwing kisses at Hulk Hogan.
Right.
But we can also talk about their policies. Like the problem with them is that they don't have that. Like, because Trump has made and the Republican Party, for that matter, has made the entire party about Trump worship. And so, attacking him as a person has some efficacy. People, are excited about Harris and Walz, but I mean, it's not, you know, like literally she was just a late replacement for Biden, and her numbers go up. And it wasn't because people were like, we need Harris. It's like, we want Democratic policies.
Right.
And she's the person now who's going to embody that.
It's more about the agenda.
Yeah.
I mean, and that is just, how can you combat that? A cult of personality without an agenda, well, except Project 2025, but in terms of what he's advertising, or, you know, a person at the top of the ticket who a broad swaths of the party think is serviceable for the moment, and an agenda that's really popular. And they're leaning into selling that agenda. And she's also not doing, and we pointed this out because Hillary Clinton's speech I just couldn't stand. Hillary just kept over and over talking about herself or the history and connecting her candidacy to Harris's candidacy and to women of the past. And it's like, Harris doesn't even mention her gender or race for the most part. She just lets the Republicans freak out about it. And she focuses more on the policy of it, which is way better than making it about me, me, me. Trump's doing that. Hillary did that. Happy to see this campaign diverge from that.
I'm with Bussy director, Sam Wishcasting Rumble Callers. Me too, bud.
Do you think the way that they deploy that "what is a woman" thing is the way they would have said, "Oh, you like black people," without saying the word "black people" about 40 years ago?
Yeah, they would. It's their way of saying, you know, like it's their more intellectual way of saying "and lover."
Exactly.
Calling from an 818 area code. Who's this? Where are you calling from? Like it just, for them, it just supposedly ends the conversation.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, got you. Hey, folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.